Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas, and today I want to talk about BIOSHOCK 4, the legacy of BIOSHOCK, and how we came to be where we are now, a decade later, with nothing to show. Now, BIOSHOCK is one of them games that if you love, you absolutely love. BIOSHOCK 2, if you love it, like me, you love it. BIOSHOCK Infinite went a different direction, but hey, I enjoyed it. Fun fact, BIOSHOCK 2, I love it. I absolutely adore it a lot more than other people. BIOSHOCK in and of itself wasn't unique. It evolved basically from System Shock, to cut a very long story short, from the mind of Ken Levine, Irrational Games. Now obviously, Ken Levine has moved on. He now works on a project called Judas and not BIOSHOCK. Judas is very much like BIOSHOCK, but it's not BIOSHOCK. But where is BIOSHOCK 4? Assuming that we're going to count BIOSHOCK Infinite as BIOSHOCK 3. Who knows? Who knows what it's going to be called? But there's been rumours floating around for so long about BIOSHOCK, and quite frankly, I would love another BIOSHOCK. Yes, I know we have games that look a little bit like BIOSHOCK. We Happy Few, if you remember that game, had that kind of look of BIOSHOCK, but it wasn't BIOSHOCK. It just had the look of it, but it didn't. And then you get games like this, Close to the Sun, which kind of look like BIOSHOCK. It's not BIOSHOCK, it doesn't really play much like BIOSHOCK, but the aesthetic and design of it is like BIOSHOCK. And it's games like this that if you are a BIOSHOCK fan, you'll probably love looking around in this. You may not love the game itself, but the design, pretty good. You also end up with other games like this one, Apsilov. This one, not quite as much as Close to the Sun, but it's very BIOSHOCK-esque. You get that feeling of BIOSHOCK, the enclosed spaceness and the grittiness of Rapture. Yes, it's not set under the water, under the ocean, but you still get it. And then you get the likes of this. Now, no one would have ever thought that this was BIOSHOCky, but you know what? When you play through the Callisto Protocol and have BIOSHOCK in mind, you'll see clearly they had influences from BIOSHOCK. It's not just those three games as well, which are clearly inspired by BIOSHOCK. There are many others. So where is BIOSHOCK 4? Why have we still not got it? It's hard to imagine a world without BIOSHOCK at this point, because even this one is a re-release of the original. And this was 2017, I think we got this. And BIOSHOCK Infinite came out in 2013. The original BIOSHOCK, 2007. So between 2007 and 2013, we got 3 BIOSHOCK games. Where's the 4th? It would seem like a no-brainer to bring out the 4th one. I can only think of something drastic that's happened to BIOSHOCK 4. Either it's been quietly cancelled, or it's been started over again and again and again. Similar to how Dead Island 2 ended up restarting its development over and over and over. Now, will we get BIOSHOCK 4? I think we'll get something BIOSHOCK related one day, but not necessarily what we consider to be BIOSHOCK 4. In fact, BIOSHOCK in and of itself is that popular. There is a book just there, a BIOSHOCK book, that is a prequel to BIOSHOCK. I don't read books. As you can see, I've got 2 books there. I love that BIOSHOCK book. I've read it twice, which is weird because I'm not a reader. Anyway, BIOSHOCK 4. Ken Levine's not involved, but obviously the rights of BIOSHOCK 4 is owned by 2K. Why aren't 2K doing anything? It seems like an easy one to milk for all it's worth. There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a deeper reason. Ken Levine was the mind behind BIOSHOCK. Was he really the creative genius of it all? Or was it his team? Because let's face it, his team have also moved on. Yes, there are some people still in 2K that will be developing what we think is BIOSHOCK 4. But will it look like what we know? Will it look like a lighthouse? That lighthouse is significant in BIOSHOCK. What can they possibly do? Maybe like the book, they're going to do a prequel, BIOSHOCK 0. I honestly think that is a better option than BIOSHOCK 4. Now, people will disagree with me and say, no, we want BIOSHOCK 4, Jimmy. We want BIOSHOCK 4. It only makes sense to get BIOSHOCK 4. No, it doesn't. You look at how prequels have existed throughout gaming and how well they work. Yeah, I know Resident Evil 0 might be a little bit of the exception, but something like Yakuza 0, that exploded for the Yakuza series because it was something people have been clamouring for and want to know a bit more about the lore and behind it and everything. So I think BIOSHOCK 0 is a better option. Now, do you think it's ever been considered by 2K, a BioShock Zero? Yeah, I think it has. Naturally, it would have. Rapture is a massive, important place in the BioShock sphere. You've got to think, the first two BioShocks were set in Rapture. We grew to love that dystopia. We absolutely loved it. And then we ended up in Columbia in the sky. However, the DLC took us back to Rapture. And yes, I know you could look at the Burial at Sea DLC packs in BioShock Infinite as a prequel to BioShock, and it led to BioShock, it did all this. But a fully fledged game based on that book, I would absolutely love, but it wouldn't be based on the book, naturally. But BioShock 4, if they did go with that, what would they do? I don't think they could take it into Rapture, and I don't think they could take it into Columbia. I think they would have to do something in the BioShock world to connect with those two one way or another. And it would have to be, like I say, with the lighthouse. The lighthouse is the key to anything BioShock related. Will 2K do that? Yeah, they should do if they've got their heads screwed on properly. But if they just want to milk it for all it's worth, like I said earlier, then no, they wouldn't do that. They just throw some garbage at us. But the fact they've taken, at this point, over 11 years between BioShock releases, I think it's only a good sign. I think it is a good sign that we're still waiting. When do I think we'll hear about another BioShock game? 2025. I genuinely think 2025 is the year we will hear about another BioShock game. Whether it is BioShock 4 or BioShock 0, who knows, or something completely different. But 2025 is the year I think we'll hear about it, and 2026, quite possibly the release date. A lot of games these days are planning themselves, you could say, around the GTA 6 launch. The problem with gaming at this point is Grand Theft Auto 6 is the be-all and end-all of everything, the game that will define a generation, all that malarkey, and it probably will, to be honest. It'll sell like hotcakes. It'll probably sell like hotcakes on hotcakes. But I don't think it's sensible to release a high-profile game or even a low-profile game around the same time as Grand Theft Auto 6. It's not a sensible idea, which is why I think it will launch in 2026, or rather BioShock will launch in 2026, I should say. So yeah, that's just my thoughts about BioShock and games which are clearly inspired by BioShock. I don't mind them, they're alright. But what do you think about it? Is a BioShock 0 sensible? Is it the right way to go? Or is BioShock 4 an involvement into the series the best way? Let me know in the comments below.